spent my first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
All right. What is up, all y'all fine people out there in Facebook, YouTube land? It looks like we are live to both platforms, which is strange because we were experiencing a lot of technical difficulties from the algorithm gods and the higher powers that be that run everything on top of internet in and out. I have great internet, but for some reason, it's cutting in and out. So I think they may have been messing with us a little bit, but of course, this is Mountain Readiness Live. I'm your host, Big T, with Mountain Readiness, coming at you live from the Appalachian Mountain Range. And over to the cubicle next to me, this guy sneezed, and I would have told him bless you, but with looks like that, he doesn't need my blessing. This guy right here, there's only two elements that will kill Superman, and one of them is Joe Teti. Joe, what's going on, man?
Hey, Bob. No, man, just got back from the gym, took a shower, got ready for our podcast, and yeah, man, just a good day. Every day's a good day. Every day's a good day.
Every day.
Yes, sir.
Every day is a good day for sure. And it's with love, Joe, that I say those things. I always got to say something. I try to be witty. I got to watch how deep I get into it. People start saying, maybe I'm transgender, gay, homo, something like that. Who knows? Who knows where to go from there? But
as far as they know, you're not.
Cut up in good time.
No, I appreciate it, man.
So, man, we've got a bunch. We got people out here in the there's Will, there's Sandra, there's Russ and Teresa, Christy, of course, Guy, Mr. Matt King. Matt says, let's see here. There's Carrie. We know that girl there. Howdy, Carrie. Thanks for posting that stuff up for us. Matt says your book is good. He must be reading the book.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
So, guys, of course, we have to say these things. The algorithm gods, they need you to like and share and comment. That's what pushes this out on the feeds. That's how we get views. That's how we get more people joining us, learning, fellowshipping with like-minded individuals. And it's hard. It's hard in this day and age. We're always getting squished when it comes to trying to talk truth. If you talk truth, nobody wants you to be able to do that on these platforms. So throw that out there. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, push it around. And, of course, I want to mention our affiliates, which we're still getting set up with. Survival Gear BSO. Guys, Brian is awesome. His gear is awesome. He gets the best prices. I don't know how he does it, but he finds stuff for way cheaper than what I can, and I'm pretty thrifty. So we will be an affiliate of Survival Gear BSO. They will be on our website. We also are now an affiliate for Redmond Salt and the agricultural side of Redmond Salt. So if you have farm animals, all that kind of stuff, you can buy through our affiliate link. Of course, we get they give us a little cash for that. It doesn't affect what the price is to you guys, but by being an affiliate, we have the capabilities of giving you, our patrons and our followers, very good savings on sales. So it is business, guys, but we aren't putting anybody on our platform that we don't believe in. Redmond Salt has great products. Survival Gear BSO has great products. Spartan Americana has great training. So these are the people. And of course, we are affiliate now with Harvest Right freeze dryers. And these will all be available on our website. We're going to be plugging them because we have been using the Harvest Right medium-sized freeze dryer, and we've just been tearing it up, Joe. Do you have a freeze dryer, Joe?
You know what? I think we do. We do have dehydrators, so like dehydrate like apples and fruits and all that stuff. But I'd love to get a commercial one. But they're pretty pricey. They're a little pricey. But
they are.
Yeah, but we do. We've done a little bit of it. You know what's really crazy, dude? Have you ever like jarred eggs? You know how long you can keep eggs? I never knew that how long you could actually keep eggs if you actually put them in jars and sealed them. It's amazing. We don't have chickens, but we have family that has it, so we get a lot of eggs.
Yeah. When I tell you, the eggs just sitting out on the counter alone, you can actually leave them things out there for weeks and weeks as long as you do not wash them.
That's interesting.
And they're completely fine. And I'll tell you with the freeze dryer, we've been freeze drying 4 or 5 dozen of eggs at a time. And I had Amber reconstitute it. Basically all you do is just crack everything, whip it all up, pour it on a tray, stick it in the freeze dryer, hit start. And in about 24 hours, it's powdered. There's nothing left in it. You throw it in the pan, throw a little water and butter in it, and I'm not kidding. You can't tell the difference in taste. Wow. You just can't do it. It's amazing. It's like you just made it fresh.
Interesting. I've never had eggs like that, but yeah, always good to have, gear. I think we're going to talk about gear too, like just talking about that, having the right kind of gear, and we can get into that whenever you want, but that's something that I would like to discuss for sure.
The right kind of gear. And Gil, that sweatshirt, he does ride. He does have a Harley. That's the only 0 to 60 in 5.3 minutes, but you look and sound good getting there. That's all that matters. Ain't about how fast you get there. My bike's slow as molasses, but it looks good getting there. Sounds good getting there.
I got a Street Bob. She's pretty fast. She got a 103 cc engine, but yeah, I like my Harley.
Oh yeah, love the Harley, and we've got quite a few people in here. So look here, guys. We just released today. I stuck it out there on media. The protecting the homestead, right? And so we're going to talk about protecting the homestead, what we're doing with it, what your dollar gets you for this event. And you can get your tickets right there. Of course, Camp Barnhart. Now listen up, guys. This is a 1,000-acre facility. It is closed off to the public. We literally have the keys to the castle, and it is all us. This place has a full dining hall, fireplace in it, a professional kitchen. We've got meeting areas. We've got pavilions. It sits on Lake Baden. There's trails everywhere. I mean, this place is it's gorgeous. I mean, it's like that's probably one of the nicest campgrounds I've ever seen. So number one, when you come, not only
I think Bob froze. Bad internet connection with Bob. That's what you get for living in the boonies. Let me text him. Technical difficulties, but we can fix it.
Well,
you there, Bob?
Once again, here we are with the higher powers that be. As soon as we start talking about So we start talking about training of truth. There it is. There it is, guys.
What a coincidence, right?
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
It's all good. That's
So let's
funny.
try that again. And there's Emily. Emily from Casting Crafts. How you doing, Emily? I know Emily is. We got to know her at Blade Show in Atlanta. She is vacationing in Asheville area currently. They're in the mountains. I've seen a bunch of posts. So welcome, Emily. Glad you could join us. But now that the camera's back up, look, guys, you're going to be training with some of the best in the business on a gorgeous, secluded 1,000-acre facility, and it is ridiculously awesome. We are making these tickets, all right? No, is it cheap? No, but is it actually fair? Most definitely.
Yeah.
For your ticket, our first 50, we're going to do all inclusive. Your meals are included. Your camping is included. You have 0 additional prices tacked on there. The only thing additional is if you want to get one of the little 8-person bungalows, they're little cabins that sleep 8. We've charged extra for that. But as far as the glamping, the little tents with 2 cots in each of them, it's included. It's included, and your food's included. We have all the gear. We've got all the airsoft stuff. And, of course, you got Joe that's going to be training, doing all this force-on-force, CQB, team CQB. What's some other classes we've talked about, Joe?
Yeah. So home security, travel security. We do a little bit of tracking. You know why that's really important to understand tracking, because there's a very simple way to rake your property, so to speak, and make what are called spore traps to see if people have been on your property. I actually flew out to Arizona last year and did that for an estate out there. They're out in the middle of nowhere, but it was a very, very good way to see if anybody's been on your property. It's a cheap date. It don't cost nothing but a rake, and it works really well. But the biggest thing is going to be like, you know, what kind of other classes are like, you know, what kind of weapons do you own? Do you own the right weapons? You know, whether pistol, carbine, shotguns, what do you own? You know, why do you own them? Are they set up with the right optics, with the right slings? You know, and this is a gear thing. And a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. And you may have a $3,000 Benelli M2 shotgun, but if you don't know how to use it, it's a $3,000 hammer. You know, I mean,
a club.
Yeah.
You're passing a club around.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And guys, this is the prime opportunity. I know that in the busy lifestyles that we've been brainwashed into thinking what life is, of doing the 40+ hour week and staying up late checking emails, and then on the weekends doing all these extracurricular activities. It is hard to fit in that training time. It really is. I don't train as much as what I should and what I want to, but I do try to at least once a week get out on my personal range and do some stuff, do the things. Because it is, boy, I can feel that rustiness knocking that dust off just in a matter of 5-6 days. It creeps in quick. And so an event like Protecting the Homestead, man, guys, you're going to be doing CQB. And then, of course, we have Refuge Medical, and Bear, TJ himself, the Bear, is going to be there. They're going to be putting you guys into some awesome, serious, hardcore combat medical situations. We're going to incorporate that into the force-on-force and CQB stuff. And this is 2-level building. How many square foot is that place, Joe?
That's 6,000. Yeah.
So a 6,000 2-story building with staircases. I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff going on, furniture all over the place, and then it looks like Night Force Optics is going to come down with Refuge Medical and Bear, and we're going to do low light, no light nods, and then we're going to run through that Saturday night. So I mean, you're getting a full package here, guys. At the end of this 3 days, you're going to know where you stand in your security of your homestead. And that's the whole purpose of this, is to get you guys up to par and not only know what you should be doing, but where you're falling short. Right, Joe?
Absolutely. I mean, we all have chinks in our armor. I mean, I am constantly, buying, hey, it's a little dark in this corner. I just bought a solar light the other day to light up this one part of my property. It's a constant, evolution, constantly molding, constantly sharpening, like you said, sharpening that sword. And for those of you that have properties that you want to protect, you have to layer it. We talked about this before. You have to have layers of security, because the bottom line is, once somebody is in your house, the whole complexion changes. Now you've got a problem. If you can keep it outside or scare people away, better yet, from coming into your property, like, hey, this is a hard target. I'm going to go across the street to this dude. This guy's got lighting. He's got signs that say there's surveillance cameras. There's an attack dog on the property, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, most people that have bad intentions will walk away. But yeah, what
Absolutely.
What the biggest threat is right now? Wow.
You want to start off on it? You want me to jump in?
Go ahead. Yeah, that's a. Go ahead.
There's so many areas that we could go with this. This is a pretty broad question, Sal. I'm not going to lie, but to me, I would say number one biggest threat to us right now is complacency. And we all know that complacency kills, right? That's how this works. When you become complacent and numb to your surroundings, they even say that most car accidents happen within a mile of your home.
Yeah.
And the reason is that you're so used to driving that exact same place every time, you go off into la la land, right? And so, number one, biggest threat right now, I'm not worried about the Russian submarines off of Florida. I don't care. I don't care about China. I don't care about the immigrants. At the end of the day, when it comes to my doorstep, that's when I'm going to deal with that problem. But complacency, when you're out and about and you're just in la la land and you find yourself staring at your phone, staring down like this, you're setting yourself up for failure right there. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'd say that's the biggest thing to me.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. I think the biggest threat is just people's lack of just admitting, where we're at right now. And I just remember COVID, how crazy it got in my little town. Getting water and just watching people fight over a case of water and just stupid shit. Like, and that was just COVID. And I'm thinking, if something really bad happened, you could have multiplied that by 10, and
yes.
So what, Bob, I think that's a very good answer. Complacency, for sure. People just, and then again, I've said this before, well, I'll fix it. No, you're not going to fix it. You're behind the power curve so bad, along with 10 million other people. You're not going to be able to play catch up. It's too late to play catch up. That's my 2 cents on it. And I sleep good at night. I've said it before. I sleep good at night. I'm prepared. I've got what we need here to protect the family, to eat, and everything. So, what's this?
I put some writing on that, and then we'll talk about this right here, because choosing the right equipment, like you said, being gear junkies, man, you can waste a lot of money on crap. You just can't. And you don't even realize it's crap unless you start using it.
That's right.
But as far as the complacency side and sleeping well at night, that's a great point to what we're doing with protecting the homestead. Guys, you would not believe how much hate just day one I get because of the Canva and what I said in the post today from, you name it, every walk of life, for spreading fear, being a fear monger. And I'm like, look, people, and I don't even answer half this stuff anymore. The one guy replied back to him with a sheep. I had a little guy with a sheep costume on, because that's what he is. That little sheeple running around. Peace of mind is what we're talking about here, guys. If you have the right equipment and you know how to use it, you have defensive measures in place, your family is on board with these SOPs and what you've set up in case of SHTF or just a natural disaster, it's peace of mind, guys. It's self-explanatory at that point.
I guess I would just say this to somebody. Are you willing to gamble the lives of your family members on not being prepared? If the answer is yes, then that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. Well, I am saying you're wrong. But I think it's a really crappy situation to put your family in where you can spend a minimal amount of money. Minimal. Like, I'm a blue collar guy. You're a blue. I mean, it takes time. Like my bug out truck. I've been working on that thing for 2 years. Little bit. But a minimal amount of money will get you where a good start is. I mean, and again, you're always improving your fighting position, so to speak. But I don't know. I guess that's what I would say. If you don't think your family's life is worth a little preparedness, then, I hope you can get away with it when the time comes, but the chances are you're not. You're just screwed.
I mean, well put. Hey, look, and in the good old US of A, we have these things called freedom. And so if you choose to live unprepared and you're happy with that, hey, bro, it's your family. By all means, do it to it. That's your responsibility to take care of you and yours. And so don't do it at all. I'm good with that. If I myself choose to make sure that down to the equipment I carry in my truck, that I'm prepared, right? It's just being well-rounded. I carry a plug kit in my truck, and if my tire gets low, I plug my tire and I use my little plug-in air compressor, and boom, this thing cost me $30. It saved my ass. I don't know how many times, guys. Wow. And this is what we're selling. This is just called preparedness and security. Yeah. It's just in the form of an air compressor, right?
Imagine it's not a gun for those the haters. Look, it wasn't a gun. Ooh, it's an air compressor. Imagine that.
Yeah. It actually, it may resemble, it does have a handle and a trigger. However, all you haters out there, it's an air compressor. And what does it stand for? It stands for self-reliance. It's called self-rescue. It's called no one can save you faster than you.
Right.
And so the same applies all the way across the broad spectrum of life. If you don't want to be prepared, then by all means, have fun, have at it, live in your little dream world.
Yeah. It's so funny, Bob. You would think someone in my background and all of my friends would be like you and prepared, but I have so many friends and acquaintances that just, hey, I'll take care of it when the time comes.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, oh man, how can I get through to you? And look, these are people of means. These are people that make really good money. They could drop $20,000, $30,000 like that. And they're just like, nope, don't need it. I saw somebody ask me about how the puppy was. Oh my, that thing. Yeah, it's it eats everything. But no, she's coming along real well, actually. How do you feel about
the bigger question is ask Brian with Survival Gear BSO how his puppy is. I don't know if you heard about that. I'll let him tell that story. But
oh man, that was funny though. Mine's not quite that bad yet. So
right.
Let's say here. How do you feel about a spider hole? I assume, Sal, you're talking about your crawl space on your house. I don't have a crawl space, but hey, why not? If you can put it somewhere like that, where it's accessible, I would probably even say like even in your bedroom, because if the shit does hit the fan, it's probably going to be at night. It's probably when you're going to be sleeping. And if you're going to want to access a crawl, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah. On me, the spider hole thing, and there's a couple videos out there I've seen here recently from some pretty big names in the YouTube survival genre. And they did something similar to this. It was, get down in your crawl space and you have all your little portholes where your vents are and stuff. And this is fine. but I have to go back to my days as a firefighter, which I did 5 years fighting fires, rescues, all kinds of that, picking up arms, legs, and all kinds of nastiness. The number one rule is means of egress. All right. So a spider hole in your crawl space is fine as long as you have multiple means of egress. If you can't get out of there, you just made yourself a coffin, is what you did.
And most people's crawl spaces are locked from the outside.
Exactly. And it's usually a very small entrance exit. There's usually only one way in and one way out. And even if you go through the floor of your house, you know, let's say you utilize, hey, look, you could utilize your crawl space if you had a fire, if you had a way to go straight through your floor. You know, we used to do all kinds of crazy stuff with the firefighting. We would bust through drywall. We would bust through exterior walls, crawl in, crawl out. Same thing applies. But if you're using this as a defensive measure, that means the egress, and I'm going to tell you, it is solid concrete is good, but a lot of crawl spaces are cement block. And there's stuff out there that goes through block. Not only is there stuff that goes through block that's available to the civilian population, but that block becomes an incinerary if you're next to it. Right. So, you know, I'm as long as you got a way to get out, I'd say cool, but you got to have that means of egress, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got all kinds of people in the chat here. I'm gonna need a mediator, a moderator, or whatever one of these days to do all these little clicking and starring. And I'll tell you, I'm just not a damn media marketing guy. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I'd be doing this shit, I told you were crazy.
me too, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's mainly just shit talk. That's good. Let's see. I know the video you're talking about, T. Yep. Christy, you know it. Not going to say his name, but he does all kinds of videos of how to make road spikes out of cattle fencing. He did one like that here a while back. And don't get me wrong, this dude, he's good. I'm just going to throw this up here because he probably didn't think we were going to, you know, Pete, why are we in our underwear? Like, I'm going to guess it's because you're up there writing books. I talked to Pete earlier today, and now, sad to say, he was probably in his underwear. Slightly disturbing. But, hey, I'm known to do a lot of business on the toilet. Just most people don't know that. So, is what it is. Joe, what do you got for you got any gear you want to talk about for trucks and you know what you carry around in your vehicle? Because I think look, if an EMP or something like that hits, it could work, it couldn't work. You know, you got this 50-50 chance. Maybe it goes one direction, maybe it goes the other. But if you're not carrying stuff in your vehicle, just going to and from work, I carry extra clothes. I carry blanket. I carry water. Water is a big one for me. I always make sure I got water in the truck. You just never know. What's some of the main items you run with?
Yeah, man. So I have got this black, looks like a big Pelican case with wheels, and it's in my Excursion, and that's kind of like our bug out truck. And it's got some water. It's got some MREs in it. So if I had to spend a night or 2 or 3 out, I could do it no problem. I've got a rifle. I got an M4 in there. I've got a pistol. I've got ammo. I have, let me see, a battery, a way to charge my battery if the battery dies in my truck. I have an automatic inflator for my tires. And I also, we're talking about EMP shield, which I have the thing that goes in the truck that will stop an EMP attack on your vehicle. So, because that's a big deal. Because if an EMP did happen, it's a 50-50 chance from the guys from EMP, 50-50 that your vehicle will be shut down. It has to do with the surface area. I also have in my vehicle, I also have a small sleeping bag, a poncho liner, a poncho. I've got, let me think real quick, a toe strap, One thing I don't have on my truck, and I need to get it, is a winch. I think that is a no-brainer to extract your vehicle if you get stuck. But what I have in my vehicle is anything that I would need to have to be out for 2 or 3 days. Some water, some food, some shelter, protection, force protection, that kind of thing. I also have a really good pair of binos. I also have, this is kind of funny, my buddy told me about this. I thought it was really smart. I have 2 cans of spray paint, one tan and one green. So if I was actually out and was in such a bad situation where I would camouflage my truck, I could actually tiger stripe it with 2 cans. I mean, it sounds goofy, but I was like, you know what? That's pretty damn smart. 2 cans of spray paint, and because my truck's black. But nothing crazy. What is Matt? How much is EMP blocker? About $400, Matthew. About $400. And matter of fact, I have it here. Stand by right there. I have it right here. I'll show it to you. I got this from these guys, and I'll show you. I'll show you how big these things are. I've got one for my house, and this one right here, it's still wrapped up. This one actually goes on your fuse box of the house. That's about how big it is. And then
Nice.
I've got the one for the truck. It's about the same size, right? And then I've got one more that actually works to protect a solar charger, a solar power generator, which is small, about that big. Matter of fact, I can take it out. Very, very small. But you guys need to check this out. Look, I don't own this company, but I spoke to them. They're very cool people, and they're experts on EMPs. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there about EMPs that I actually was putting out until recently. Because everybody says anything that has electronic component in it will be fried. That's not true. It has to. They even said a phone. You got about a 10% chance of your phone getting hit because it's about the surface area. So like your house, yes. Your truck or car, 50-50. It has to do with the surface area and how much of the energy it actually soaks up. And these devices I just showed you, what they do is when an EMP hits, it actually acts as like a lightning rod, is the way the guy explained it to me, and it shuts it down faster than it can get to the electronics. And dude, it was like some stupid thing, like 500 thousandths of a second or some crazy thing, you know. But it's been tested. You can go on their site and read all the data. These guys are rocket scientists about this stuff. So, you got about $1,200 worth of gear right there, but it protects your house, your car, and a solar charging station. To me, that's also.
Now, does that, and I've been meaning to talk to that guy. I've called him a couple of times. We keep missing each other. I will get with him, but does that help with surge protection or anything, lightning, anything as well, or is it only the EMP stuff?
Yeah, and don't quote me on this. I think the one for the house is a one-shot deal. The one for the vehicle can take multiple EMP hits, because basically what it does is it takes the EMP hit, and you have 2 cables that go to the battery and then one to the frame of the vehicle, and it basically flushes that EMP charge to the entire frame of the vehicle. So it's really interesting technology. Yeah, man, they got this shit figured out, dude. They got it figured out.
And Andrew, I like what Andrew you're doing here. I've been a road tech. I was a road tech at ASE, heavy truck and trailer repair guy for 26 years. This is absolutely the stuff that you should have in your vehicle. Look here, guys. I work with the biggest trucking companies in the business. We're talking about Penske, JB Hunt, NFI, multi-billion-dollar corporations. The number one cost to these companies were tires. And 90% of that was improperly inflated tires. Okay, so that's where they lost most of their money in repairs, was just in rubber. So for all you guys, I'm a stickler, and gals, I'm a stickler for a couple times a week. I get up and I do the whole pre-trip on my vehicle. I check the tire pressures. I look underneath it. I'm checking for leaks. I check oil, transmission, coolant, the whole bit. Because at the end of the day, if you're into preparedness, you never know when something stupid is going to happen. And it could just be as simple as you decided to take the path that was off the beaten path and you got stuck. I got chains in my truck. I can hook those up. I can make myself a flip-flop winch, and I can winch my truck out with a couple small trees. Knowledge like that and having that equipment. I keep a tire repair kit in my truck. I've done thousands of tires. I'm not even kidding you. Matt King that's on here, he can tell you I've done thousands of Widowmakers, split rims, big trucks, tractor tires, doesn't matter. And a plug kit is of the utmost importance for tires. You're not supposed to plug the sidewall of a tire, right? But if it's an emergency, you can punch a plug in there as long as it didn't rip the whole sidewall out. Right. And it's little things like that, having that knowledge, knowing how to pull the plug, how to put it into the punch, how to clean the hole out, how to put epoxy on that. Self-rescue, guys. At the least, if you call a repair guy out, that's $250 all day long out your pocket for a 10-cent plug. You could have done it yourself.
Here's a question I have for people listening. How many of you have vehicles at home right now that if you had to get in your vehicle and haul it, is your tank full? You should be like, I have one vehicle, my Excursion, that's to get out of Dodge. And, I try to keep that thing full at all times because you may or may not be able to get gas. So just keep that in mind, guys. Little detail things like that. You should never let your vehicles get down to empty. Never. No. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I do it every now and then, but my bug out truck, that thing's full.
Yep. It's full. And I won't let my truck or any of my vehicles get under a half a tank. Like half a tank's my max. I'll let it go. And I always keep extra fuel on the truck too, because I'll tell you, changing tires, I can change a tire on the side of the road with a half a cup of gasoline and some tire bars. Not even joking. I can seat that sidewall. Disclosure, guys, don't try this unless you're a professional, blah, 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 blah. But I've changed tires. I have inflated tires with a cherry bomb before, So, because the bead, the tire doesn't take air until the bead is seated. And I couldn't get a tire to seat one time. I put an M80 in it, and that's with the air hooked up while the compressor's pumping air into that tire. As soon as that thing went boom, pow, those sidewalls hit and aired that tire up. So there's all kinds of tricks. So I carry a little extra fuel on the side. But yeah, Andrew, plugging sidewalls. He said it lasted for 2 years. Amen, brother. I had some tires that went for years and years on some work truck back in my broke days. And man, you can really you can get your money's worth. That's for sure. But guys, this is stuff. It isn't just about what you got in your bug out bag, all the cool bells and whistles. Right. Sometimes it is as simple as, do you have a pry bar and an adjustable wrench in your truck or car?
Yeah. Here's one thing too, and I'm not telling people you should do this for just disclosure, but like I have a route out of town that if something bad happened in Charlotte, right? Which, by the way, Charlotte's way at the top of the list for like a nuke, because I didn't know how long ago, but it's the only city in the world that has 2 nuclear power plants within close proximity. I just found that out. So anyway, one of the things I have in my truck is a small set of wire cutters. And the reason is there's a place down the road where if I cut through a fence, I can get somewhere where other people can't get. But I've got to get through the fence. So
that's it. I carry a set of cutters, same in my truck right now, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, guys, I had a little bit of cough. We all caught the blade show plague. I don't know what's going on. Everybody got sick. Yeah, the bolt cutters is 100%. You should keep those in your truck, man. Those are multi-use, multi-purpose tool right there.
Yeah.
I cut the heads off of seized nuts and bolts.
Sure.
You know, I couldn't get it off. You can hook those on the end of that nut on the end of the bolt and shear that in two and pop that bolt out. So, you know, that thing there. And yes, Matt King, I have not forgotten that Christmas day that I went and changed that axle out on the back side, the South Carolina side of Charlotte. On Christmas Day, I drove down there and repaired. It was a wheel-in failure. So it was, the tools had come off the back of the trailer, the big intermodal chassis, and ate up all the threads. So I had to take a torch out there, slice all the bearings off, rethread the axle, put it all back together, new hub, tires, you know, and that was how I spent a Christmas one time. But that's what it's about. It's called customer service. We aim to please. Same thing here at Mountain Readiness, Spartan Americana. We take care of our people. So,
hey, Bob, here was one thing that I don't know what made me think about this, but for those of you that are so inclined to buy like a travel trailer, the prices have come way down on those things, man. I was looking at them a year ago, and trailers that were $15,000 are selling for $9,000 and $8,000 because there's such an overstock of them. And I'm here to tell you, I think that's a great piece of gear to have if you got a truck and you've got a trailer. I mean, you got a mobile home that you can, you know, load that thing up and you're gone. And I'm going to be getting another. I don't want a 30-foot one. I want something very small, maneuverable, kind of like Tactical Rifleman. What he has.
Yes.
Have you ever seen his? He's got a badass trailer. Like, and I know that thing's a lot of money. I can't afford one of those. But something like that is a no-brainer to me. Like, and you can get them, guys.
Oh, yeah.
If you go on, Facebook Marketplace, and you can actually get something pretty nice for $5,000 to $7,000, and that is a no-brainer.
Even then, you can get. Look here, guys. If you are creative and you've got some skills when it comes to hands-on, you can buy an enclosed 8x10 single axle trailer, and for about you can buy one of those for $1,000, right? A used one. And for another $5,000, I did for a buddy of mine. We turned it into a living quarter with AC, extension cord. We put a generator on it, a little cooking stove, a fold down cot, and he put his Harley in the back. That way, when he was going on trips, he took his house with him. And he didn't have a bunch of money to spend. You know, he didn't have 30, 40 grand to spend on one of these awesome deals like Carl's got, which, hey, man, if you can afford it, cool, because that thing is off the hook awesome. Yeah. But if you got a little welding skills and a little carpentry skills, guys, that's the ultimate bug out. I have a friend that lives down in South Carolina that was a customer of mine years ago. And he's got a 12-foot trailer that he's turned into his bug out trailer. And this thing is set up with solar. It's got a toilet in it. It's got beds in it. He's got all his gear in it. All he's got to do is hook and make it to his destination. Yep. And, I mean, that's ultimate preparedness. As far if you're going to bug out, don't bug out with a bicycle and a backpack. If you can get a trailer, I mean, roll that vehicle as long as you can possibly do it.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so funny because again, I'm a blue collar guy, man, but I have bartered and wheeled and dealed and traded and like, hey, man, like, because, I actually traded a gun one time for a really cool piece of kit for some night vision. This guy had two, and he's like, hey, man, you give me that rifle, I'll give you that. So, guys, if you don't have the money, I get it. I'm one of those people. But if you can wheel and deal with people, you'd be surprised what some people have. And I'll tell you another thing. You're going to laugh at this, though. But even going to yard sales, man, you would be surprised. Like, there were some people that were selling some, I think it was U.S. Patriot or 4 Patriot cans, and like 20 cans of this stuff for like $500. It was like a $2,500 hoard of food that they were asking $500 for. Poof, grabbed it. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, man, I will jump all over some stuff like that. And Jeremy, we forgive you, bro. I understand. Sometimes you got to work in the garden. Sometimes you got to handle your bees. So go back and watch that first part. You missed a whole bunch of awesome stuff, but we forgive you, brother. We're just glad you're here. The tools, and it still applies. You know, Craftsman, S&K, Mac, Matco, all the big names, they all are lifetime warranty. I used to go around to yard sales and buy broken crap, all right, broken tools, and then take them to the tool guy and have them replaced because they're lifetime warranty. You know, so I pay pennies on the dollar for broken crap, and I go turn them in and get me new tools. Hey, you do the same thing. I mean, save a buck. Don't spend a bunch of money on stuff if you don't have to. There was a comment in here. I got to know, Cat, what are you talking about here, brother? Use an empty pineapple can for example. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I have done something like that. So you're just cutting that can and patching your exhaust and wrapping it with baling twine is what I'm going to guess if I had to guess what you were talking about here. And baling twine, guys, I got a spool of baling twine in the truck. It's the flexible wire, you know. You can tie your exhaust up. Me and a buddy were screwing around in the woods with a car. Yeah, it was a car. We were driving a Toyota Corolla through the hills of Missouri in the woods. We broke a tie rod on this car. We took baling twine and we put the tie rod back into the socket and we wrapped it in baling twine and we drove it all the way home, like a couple miles like that. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you get some redneck ingenuity. You can do a lot with duct tape and baling twine.
See, and Bob, I just wrote a note. I don't have that. I don't have baling twine, but I'm going to go buy some. I'm just going to go to Harbor Freight and buy it. That's a great, doesn't cost anything, but what a great piece of kit just to have for stuff like that. Baling twine.
Huge piece of kit. Yeah, that baling twine, and I'd get the Gorilla tape or the 100-mile-an-hour tape. Yeah. Man, I have that. We had a semi truck. And this was Matt King. Matt, you remember this, I'm sure. We had a semi truck driving along the interstate coming out of Charlotte, and the vehicle in front of them was carrying a little trailer, you know, like a utility trailer. It come loose and went like up underneath the truck and ripped a bunch. Man, we taped fenders on. I mean, we taped body parts on. That thing made it all the way back to Greer, South Carolina. It was amazing what you can do with good tape. You can fix all kinds of stuff with it, man. So yeah, what's some other stuff? What we got here in some of these comments? Texas Tony has made similar one. What are we talking about here? Tactical Rifleman has. Yeah, exactly. Little campers, that you can make. It's cheap, guys. You can get on Marketplace and all these places, buy these little AC units. You know, Harbor Freight, you got to watch some of their stuff, but no joke, they are selling the Predator. I think it's is it 3,500, 8,000? So it's the big one, and it's like $900 for this Predator generator. This thing will literally, you can run multiple 220s, a whole bunch of 110s. It will easily run lights and an AC.
Oh yeah,
and it's super quiet. Like you can't even hear it next to your head. I know 2 homesteaders that are using this. They've got mobile market trailers where they have 3 deep freezers in it, and they stock them with the meat, and they go to the markets and they sell at the markets. This thing's handling 3 deep freezers and lights, no problem. Use like a quarter tank of gas in a day. So, you know, $800 for that. I mean, you got a power system, but that Predator from Harbor Freight, I got multiple people been using it for quite a while, says it's awesome. So save some money, do stuff like that, build it yourself if you have to. But I would much rather have a bug out vehicle on wheels than to be relying on a backpack and shoe leather, guys. That's for sure.
It sounds sexy right up to the point where you have to do it. You know,
yes,
and that's what, you know, that's what we talk about, tactical and tactical.
Yes.
You know, I've got friends of mine that have bug out bags. I mentioned this last time. that weigh 80 pounds. And I'm like,
Yeah.
have you ever humped an 80-pound rucksack very far? I have. It sucks. Okay. You better be physically and mentally prepared to haul that kind of weight, because you're just going to start throwing shit out of it. Like, don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. The rule of thumb, guys, is this: 20% of your body weight. The average person can carry 20%. So if you're a 200-pound man, a 40-pound bug out bag, no problem. If you're just in average shape, you're good to go. And you get a fire bucket hat. Oh, you know where you get those at, Christy? I just bought some at Firehouse Subs. They're pickle buckets. I got them for $3 a piece, and they're food grade. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I got them for $3.
So, and here's the other side. Yeah. Here's the other side that I got from Sandy Davis, who was also on here. She said, hey, you can go to Walmart and go to the deli, and they'll give them to you for free. And sure enough, I went to the local Walmart and I said, hey, you guys got any food grade buckets that you want to get rid of? He's like, yeah, here you go. Here's 2 buckets. All we had to do was clean out some icing. They're icing buckets, 5-gallon food grade. And look, you can store all kinds of stuff in these. And so here's you a hack that we were talking about, Joe. Here's a hack for storage of food. So you can't just take a sack of flour or sugar and throw it into a bucket and put the lid on, okay, guys? And even with beans, because there's little bugs and stuff that's in that over time will hatch. And the next thing you know, you got all these little bugs in your flour. It's ruined. It's garbage. So you take your big old bag of flour, you stick it in the deep freezer for about at least a week or 2. We stuck them in there for a month. And then we put them in our food grade buckets, hammered the lid on, and guess what? Almost 4 years later, that flour, those beans, that sugar is still fine. Still fine 4 years later. So there's your hack, guys.
That's a great little technique, man. Just to freeze the shit out of them, kill them, and then
kill them.
Man, I'm
because bugs or anything, it's like
all kind of good info here.
Yeah, raw meat, it's the same thing. Microorganism stuff live in everything. You throw raw meat out, that's when stuff starts, crawling out. I mean, it is what it is, guys. You have little microbial things on your eyelashes that are living. They're living little bugs on your eyelashes. You don't even know they're there unless you got some ridiculously high-end microscope that you can actually see them. And what they do is these little bugs actually eat the particles that stick to your eyelids. So these little bugs are helping you. Same thing with flour. They get in there, they do what bugs do. So we got to kill them off in order to make sure that the flour and stuff stays good. So and Bushcraft Diva, glad you could join us. She said hi. Haven't seen Bushcraft Diva on here. That's awesome. And I missed you at the Mountain Readiness. She said she was there. I feel bad. Of course, I was running around changing trash and hanging signs and all kinds of ridiculousness that comes with, people. I was like, I'm going to start an event and it's going to be awesome to hang out with all these survival prepper guys. And then I realized all I do is scrub toilets and change trash. Go figure. Go figure. But let's see here. These are plastic buckets. Yes, Bushcraft Diva. They're not glass. They are plastic. How do you base the money that you spend on your preps, guys? And I'll tell you, it's what you can afford. Like if all you can afford is beans and rice, it's going to be a rough go for you. But if that's all you got, that's all you got, right? So if you're trying to save money and you put it in plastic buckets and plastic bags, look, we already know, plastic is bad. It breaks down, little particles get into stuff, and it's not good for you. But at the same time, it's kind of like drinking all the water. Joe, you were overseas. They made you hammer water all day long. You had a minimum amount. You're not going to be like, oh, no, I can't drink this water because it's got, plastic degrading. I can't, but no, man, you'll die if you don't drink it. So same thing here. Base your preps on what you got to spend. So I'm losing. Let's see here. Going to seal lids for 5-gallon buckets. Gamma Seal lids for 5-gallon buckets. There you go.
Gamma
Tell me
Seal.
how to do that. Yeah, tell me
Is
how that works.
Is that a product? Gamma Seal lids? Is that a product or like a?
Oh, we have the Gamma Seal lids. That I just heard my wife. Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
okay.
that's a super. That's your food grade stuff.
Gotcha. It's
I
got
thought we were talking nuclear.
It's got a gasket. It's got a gasket in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there. Yes, 100%, definitely. And just like Russ and Teresa said, same deal. So yeah, guys, there's where you can get buckets for cheap. And here's another thing, just for planting in the garden, man. We use them. We use them for. We'll cut the bottom of the buckets out, not food grade ones, but just buckets in general. And use them to support tomato plants. You kind of pull them up as the tomato plant gets bigger and bigger. My wife's coming in to punch me or something. Oh man, that's what this is. Well, no, she's showing me. So
What do you got?
I guess this is a Gamma lid, guys. It's hard to tell. It's got a screw-on seal, so I'm going to just take it off here. So this thing screws, but the seal. Yeah, now I know what it is. The seal, the rubber seal, is in the edge of the lid.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
so you can just reseal it every time.
Wow, I like that.
So that thing just locks down and seals. So awesome. And leave it to my wife, guys. In case you didn't notice, my wife is the brains of this. I'm the brawn. That's how it works, right? I'm the one that carries the buckets around. She's the one that tells me what to put into them. That's how it works. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's having a strong back, and I was blessed with a strong back. She wasn't. So
Gamma Seal, good stuff, dude.
Man, I've lost track of all. Man, you guys are just going crazy tonight. That's awesome. Good. Love having all you people on here, all these questions. This is why we wanted to do this show, guys. This right here, man. Not only are you guys learning stuff and we're sharing all this knowledge, we're learning stuff. Joe's learning stuff. I mean, this is what it's about. This is why this networking with like-minded people.
Yeah.
This is what comes of it.
Yeah, knowledge transfer. Yeah. I mean, it's great. I've got 4 things that I've got written down already that I learned tonight just from talking. I love that, man. It's a constant process, man. Constant.
Yeah, if you think you know it all, then life's over. Life's over, okay? It's just what it is. You should always be striving to learn some stuff, more stuff. That's why, guys, protecting the homestead, I can't say it enough. Get out there. This is going to be just a ridiculously awesome event. I'm psyched. Like, I'm stoked. Here's the other side of that event, which I think is cool. We're not going to do it like Mountain Readiness where we have 70 classes a day overlapping each other. Like, literally, we're going to only have a couple classes a day. So we're going to be running, 20, 30 people through the CQB. And while that's going on, we're going to have another class so all y'all don't get bored. You may be doing some trauma medical. You may be doing some tracking. We've got Maureen Diaz from God's Good Table, of course, is going to be teaching survival tinctures and make pemmican, that survival food that if you got to hump a lot of miles, doesn't take up a lot of real estate, a lot of weight. And so you're just you will literally do every single class that we have. You don't have to look through and say, oh man, I really want to go to this class, but I got to go to this one. No, you're going to do all the classes there. You're going to gain all this knowledge. You're not going to miss a single thing. And you got a place to sleep and you got food to eat. You don't even have to bring food, bring some snacks if you want to. So let's see here. Everybody saying hi to Amber. Yep, that was Amber. By the way, tell Amber, my wife, congratulations when you maybe chatting with her. She is now the Wilkes County magistrate. Right. You got the magistrate position over 4 counties. So like I said in my post, I am supposed to refer to her as your honor moving forward. I refuse to do that, but it made for a good joke. What else we got over here? Let's see here. Sublimation is going from a solid state. We're getting some super science stuff over here. You're way over my head. I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm not sure what we're talking about, Andrew, what it's pertaining to. Let's see here. When you've been poor half your life, amen. I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing more true than what this guy has just
Absolutely.
said. That's
100%.
you nailed it.
Yes,
When
sir.
you're poor, you are creative, and necessity is the mother of invention. You will learn. And I was talking about this the other day. There's something to be said with my upbringing, Joe, with your upbringing, being poor, having hard times. It isn't, I'm not looking for no sympathy. It's made me a better person, because even in life now, you should never starve, but you should always be hungry. And that's a fact, guys. You should always stay hungry. If you're too well fed, you get lazy, you get soft, you get complacent. There's that word again. 100%, Cat. You nailed it. And I hope you're growing that beard back out, because when you chopped it off, man, you freaked me out when I seen you like that, brother. I didn't even know it was you. Didn't even know it was you, man. Here's something that I carry in my kit of the truck that I really like. I've had this thing for years, guys. This is the gear ratchet. It's made by Gear Wrench. Now, everybody's heard of Gear Wrench, right? It's a given. And Gear Wrench makes a bunch of, they're a quality ratchet. But I really like about this gear ratchet is it is the vortex socket system. Okay. So I want to show you guys this. Here's the ratchet, and you can see there's a hole in it. And here's your sockets, and you can see the socket has a hole all the way through it. Even your extension has a hole all the way through it. Now you're like, well, what does that matter? Well, I'll tell you why. If you have a bolt, like a hanger bracket, that the nut is clear up on the threads, and that nut is 8 inches long, this will slide all the way up to that nut, because it's got to pass through. And that's handy. That's handy. If you're a mechanic, I'm going to tell you right now, this sucker is handy. You can get all those, that bolt can be 50 feet long. You can slide this ratchet all the way onto it and take your nut off, which is a huge deal when you're out there on the side of the road by yourself with your little spotlight at night. So that's something there, guys. If you want a really good kit, comes as a whole kit with all kinds of adapters. You can still get this thing. I have had this thing for, I'm not even kidding, man. I bet you I've had this thing for 15 better years. And that's the vortex system. And you can see the threaded rod there. We're showing the thing going all the way down the threaded rod. Phenomenal little ratchet kit. It doesn't break the bank. And it has bailed me out way more times than one. I promise you that. So there's just a little something if you want to throw it in to the kit that doesn't take a lot of space up. Man, that thing will save you many times over. And here's something, being a mechanic, Joe, I literally was stranded in a parking lot. It was late at night. There's nobody around, because my ground cable to the battery, like, just fell apart. And no tools. You know, I ended up finding in behind the seat where I used to throw tools, I had a pair of vice grips. And I took the cable and I stuck it to the side of the battery, and I put the vice grips on it to hold the wire to the stud. You know, little stuff like that, man. A pair of little vice grips saved me right there. You know, little things like that. So remember that. You got to think outside the box. What else you got that you pack around? Hey, how many of y'all got jumper cables in your vehicle?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, right?
Man, you would be surprised how many times I got called to bail somebody out. They're like, well, I thought I had jumper cables in my car, but I don't, you know. Or a jack. How about a jack, guys? How many of you guys have a jack in your vehicle?
And does it match your vehicle? Like, I had to get a different jack for my Excursion now, because I put some kit on it, like a roof rack and some other stuff, and it weighs. I had to get a different jack. So, and if your vehicle lifted, like these are little details that when you're on the side of the road, you don't want to go, oh shit, I'm 3 inches too short.
Now, exactly. And I'll tell you something else, shoring and dunnage. Man, I got cut off 4x4s and 4x6s that I throw in the back of the truck. Now, if you got a truck, you got a little extra room. I get it. If you've got a car or something, you're not going to have as much space. But that there, just having that jack is huge. You can and that you can make up the difference. And I also carry a hydraulic jack because I got a 5-ton hydraulic jack, because sometimes I get stupid into stuff. I'll do like shop repairs on the side of the interstate on my truck, but just doing that for many years. But make sure you got a jack in there, because something that simple, now just changing your tire, you can't do it. And now at the least, you're calling somebody and they're going to charge you a couple $100 that you really don't want to spend when you have a spare tire in the back of your car, and you could have just done it yourself if you had a jack, right?
That's right.
So lockout kits. I tell you, Joe, you want to wrap us up? I didn't realize it, but man, we have been having such a good time talking survival and all this. We're at hour 6 into this live stream.
Well, we both like to talk, so it's not hard to talk for an hour. Right. No, man, right. I like the interaction with people because, look, guys, Bob and I will both admit we're not experts at nothing. I don't like the word. I am a perpetual student. Even some of the things I know pretty well, I still study, read, get advice from other people. So I love this because I've got a bunch of notes of things that's going to police up, my shortcomings. And that's what this is all about. It's just knowledge transfer, and being with like-minded people, because I'm telling you guys right now, heaven forbid the day comes that we actually have to put this stuff into use. You'll go, man, I remember those freaking conversations. And let me tell you, it may save your life. It may save your family's life. And it's true. This is very serious stuff. God knows I don't want to have to dip into my bug out bag or my bug out truck and all that stuff, because when you're doing that, things are like bad, really bad. From 1 to 10, 11.
Yes.
But guys, thank you for the knowledge and sharing the information, and keep it coming. And please stay in contact with us. If you get other tips and stuff, share it with us so we can put it out to people, because it's just those little gold nuggets I just put in your little tactical toolbox. The more the merrier. You can never have enough. Never.
No. Hey, preparedness, self-sufficiency, self-reliance. You got to keep learning it. You got to stay in the game. You got to keep gaining that knowledge. You got to keep coming together with like-minded individuals like this and talking and discussing. I mean, so much I learned tonight. I mean, and it's great just interacting with people who share the same passion that we do about what is the most powerful thing we can do as Americans and as individuals is not rely on anyone else to take care of ourselves, guys. That's what it's about. That's what our forefathers did. They were self-reliant. They did not rely on the government, or they did not rely on the grocery store. It was ride into town once a month and get some flour and salt and some tobacco and some coffee, and then go back to the homestead and keep doing what they're doing. So thank every single one of you for showing up tonight with us and talking with us. Thanks for all the comments back here, guys. Come see us next time. Sandy, we're grateful for you too. Hun, thanks for stopping in. Guys, till next Monday, we'll do it all again. God bless, stay safe, and move with purpose. We're out.